If you are running cold email campaigns and you're not getting enough replies through those campaigns and not booking enough meetings, in this video, I'm going to explain why you're not getting replies and how to start getting replies to actually book meetings. Now, who am I to talk? So my name is Rakas. I'm the owner of an agency called Piposa. I basically run B2B outbound campaigns for businesses, and I'm pretty confident that we can, and we do book appointments for our clients, okay? So basically the big reason why people don't actually get a lot of replies, neither like bookings especially, is because they're not being specific. Now, what I mean by being specific, so let's say your target is e-commerce brands, and your current offer is we help e-commerce brands grow through paid ads, okay? And I'm not saying in particular that this is you, but that's what I see through a lot of people that do try to send out cold email campaigns, okay? And maybe it used to work a couple years back, but it doesn't anymore. Now, what and to do to actually make you get replies is to be more specific. Now it's easy for me to say, so let me show you some examples and what I mean by that. Okay, so let's take the exact same example of targeting, e-commerce brands, but you need to be segmented. What I mean by segmented is, let's say your target, let's do your industry is e-commerce brands. Okay, now your niche is e-commerce brands, or like, let's say fashion e-commerce brands, and then your sub niche could be fashion e-commerce brands that make uh minimum 30K per month, basically. Okay, now as we're looking at this, we can see that it's a completely different situation. Your previous target, just the whole broad industry of e-commerce brands. And right now we have e-commerce brands, the niche fashion e-commerce brands, and your sub-niche fashion e-commerce brands that make minimum 30K per month. Okay. Now, if you still want to target all of these e-commerce brands, you'd have to do a job which is called segmenting. So let's say you'd have this would be, segment one, right? Which would be, those fashion, oops, these would be the fashion brands. Then what you have to do is create another segment, that would be segment two, and that, let's say, sports, e-commerce brands, right? And then you do the same thing, sports e-commerce brands, let's say they make the same amount of money, right? Now, you could also do the segmenting through, the amount of money they make from 30K to like 50K. Then the next segment could be, from 50K to 100K a month. So there's a lot of things that you can segment, but hopefully you get the idea on how to segment it. Now, how to be more specific while having these segments, it obviously need to do the same with your offer, right? So let's say your current offer for segment one would be like, this is going to be a specific, but not a super specific option. So your current offer, right, is we help, fashion e-commerce brands grow through paid ads. Okay. And this is, somewhat specific. If you want to be even more specific through your cold email offers, is, let's say, more specific, and specific, right? Just to make everything more clear. Specific, we help fashion e-commerce brands grow through paid ads. Okay. So what we did, we added fashion, okay, to this whole, compared to the previous one. Next, to be more specific, we help fashion e-commerce brands grow through paid ads. We help fashion e-commerce brands making at least, 30K per month go through paid ads. And what we added right now is, the monetary terms and the fashion. Right, so let's do the market as well, just to make everything more clear. Boom. Oops. Let's do this. Boom. 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 Okay, so being more specific. Now, if we wanted to be even more specific, is go do the same thing. Let's do most specific. We help fashion e-commerce brands making at least 30K a month. Is what we could add, and comes down to your personalization skills and through like any tan, clay, whatever you want to do. Is we help X product. Right, that's what you would have to do. X product fashion e-commerce brands making at least 30K a month growth through paid ads. Now, what this actually does, it would be a product. So let's say they have, in this case, you know, for fashion could be, your baseball cap or whatever, right? Basically, if you get the gist of it, it's you have to be so specific in your cold emails that whoever sees the email that you actually send the prospect, they understand like, hey, this is for me. This person actually did the research, and let's reply because it seems like they know what I'm doing. Okay, so if we were to compare our previous offer that you're doing originally, we help e-commerce brands grow their paid ads. Being specific, we help fashion e-commerce brands grow through paid ads. Being even more specific, we help fashion e-commerce brands making at least 30K a month grow through paid ads. And being the most specific, we help X product fashion e-commerce brands making at least 30K a month grow through paid ads. Okay. And this just adds so much specificity, but it actually boosts the reply rate so much that you actually can start booking meetings finally. Okay. And if we were to do the same, thing through, for example, segment two, e-commerce brands, right, would be sports. So in the end, it would be e-commerce brands that sell football balls for kids or whatever, for like young teenagers or whatever, making at least 30K a month to grow through paid ads, right? If you were to do it this way. Now, if you were to ever pick another niche, that would be the exact same thing. Now, the way you actually make this whole thing personalized is come down to your actual ability to personalize, right? And there are two options, the more expensive one and the least expensive one. The more expensive one, there's a software called Clay. Oops, basically Clay, right? Clay, right? This is an automation tool, basically where it helps you personalize and that kind of stuff. It's quite expensive. I feel like it's $350 a month if you want to use it properly. Or there's another option, which is a bit cheaper, but you have to be more technical with it. But there are so many videos on YouTube, and if you have enough, motivation and drive to find out and learn about it, I highly suggest it. Is Any10, right? I even have it on YouTube myself, video or how to create personalized lines, basically. Okay, and this will help you basically um, personalize and make the email sound specific, especially the offer. Now, what you do with these softwares is create basically an automation where you're able to scrape the website or like LinkedIn profile of the person you're targeting, and it eventually puts out these variables where you can actually, find out if they're a fashion e-commerce brand, how much money they're making, and what type of products they are selling, right? If it were to be with e-com, if let's say you were targeting remodeling companies, it would be the same thing. What type of project they do? Maybe they don't do just remodeling; they do something else that they would like to sell more of and get more jobs of. Same thing for let's say any like healthcare industry. Same thing. What type of services they provide? What type of patients they want? Their location and that kind of stuff. So the whole point of this video, I'm actually trying to go over with you, is you want your emails and your offers to be so specific, and it looks like you wrote it for a single person manually, right? You want your cold emails to look like an actually human wrote it, and if it was not a human, hopefully it's not a human because it takes a lot of time to write such emails, at least back in the day. You want to make it sound like a human wrote it, and this way you get actually replies and you get a ton of bookings, right? And your offer doesn't have to be crazy in this way, right? Because a common trap that agencies or whatever person or business you run is they run into the trap of giving such crazy guarantees and giving promises that are so out of this world, it doesn't even make sense and it doesn't even sound believable anymore. So by making these cold emails more specific, you're able to get replies because the person actually feels like you know about their business, you learned about the business, and then you decided to write the cold email, right? And you wouldn't have to even give a good offer because that's enough to book replies. And if you have a good offer as well on top of this, you're gonna get amazing results with it. Okay. And if you don't want to do everything yourself, there'll be the first link down below in the description. Click it. You can book a strategy call with me one-on-one, right? It's free. It's completely free. Let's talk. I'll see if there's any way I could help you out through your cold email campaigns if you run a B2B business. Okay. Appreciate you. Hopefully I made this video valuable as well and make your emails as specific as possible. Have an amazing day.